Contrarians listeners, watchers, subscribers, here we are with the newest Contrarians post credits, and we are starting the year with our first main episode. It's a tradition now, Alex. I think that we're finally on the same page that this is a tradition. You've been following along and not realizing that there was a pattern. The first true full Contrarians episode every year for the last 5 years is a Denzel Washington movie. And so in the past, we've covered such classics as Man on Fire, Ricochet, The Bone Collector, and now John Q, a movie that neither of us had seen, at least not all the way. And now we are fully versed on the adventures of John. Is it Quincy? Quentin?
Quincy Archibald.
Quincy. John Quincy Archibald. That one crazy time where he took a whole emergency room hostage for the sake of his son. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to the movie's kind of insane relevance to America back then and now. If you've ever gotten into a conversation about the healthcare system, sadly, this movie is one of the few movies that you can bring up to make a point somewhat. So it's rotten, 26% on the tomato meter, 78% on the popcorn meter, and we addressed that in the episode, the divide and why we think it's there. But of course, part of it's that Denzel Washington movie, so of course people are going to go watch it.
You ever seen The Divide? The movie with
that's new, or well, recent, right?
Like past 15 years, yeah.
Oh, then no, I'm thinking of a different one.
It's like Michael Baine's in it, and Roseanne Arquette, and it's like a group of people, and there's other like names I'm forgetting right now, but
is Michael Bain a movie critic and Patricia Arquette just a regular moviegoer?
It's bad. It's this group of strangers that get basically a foreign country that's not named. They deploy troops on the ground in America and drop like a nuclear bomb. And these group of strangers like end up in this fallout shelter that whoever the opposing military is like welds the door shut, just basically, and they all stay in there, and we see how they all fall apart. And it's very depressing. I was gonna say John Q is a very uplifting movie in comparison to The Divide.
Yes. I guess that's John Q gets to as close to a happy ending as you could get without absolutely breaking believability.
Yes.
It stretches it pretty thin, but 26% on tomato meter. So we praise it. We praise it like crazy in the main episode before we tell you how we really feel. Here, you know how it works. We're going to give you some extra Rotten Tomatoes quotes, some extra trivia, the Josh Gad Minute, the trailer chatter, everything. I'm going to start with the consensus, Alex, as we usually do. Critics' consensus: Washington's performance rises above the material, but John Q pounds the audience over the head with its message. Did you feel?
Yeah.
Did you feel pounded on by the movie?
Yeah, but I don't have a problem with that. So
because it's Denzel.
Well, that and one, it's not too long. It's not. I don't find like trying to educate folks into how fucked up the American healthcare system is to be preachy, so I don't mind the message.
Well, some people did, Alex. Have our first quote is John Nikim from Lawrence Journal World, who says, "At times, John Q plays like Dog Day Afternoon crossed with a human resources seminar." Have you seen Dog Day Afternoon? That's a major blind spot for me. I know it's Pacino,
but years and years ago, not like recent enough to be boned up on it, but I have seen it. But I don't. I guess I get that comparison in the sense of he's becomes like a folk hero from doing what he's doing.
He takes
it's more intense than John Q.
Yeah, I figure. So Pacino takes hostages, right? He takes like it's a bank or something hostage. I figured that was the comparison because I know Dog Day Afternoon as a hostage movie.
Yeah, because there's some of those famous scenes of or a famous scene of him talking with the negotiator. I mean, that's the movie that that's from like when John Travolta. That's what John Travolta's quoting in Saturday Night Fever when he. Yeah, I'm Al Pacino. Al Pacino. Yeah.
Watch the hair.
Yeah.
Well, we did the Dog Day afternoon comparison. Human resources seminar. I mean, I don't know. I've never been to one.
The bank employees hostage is what they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been to a human resources seminar? Can we speak to that part?
I mean, I've been to a lot of human resources and like meetings and trainings and shit like that, just due to like different positions I've held. They're very boring. I don't know how someone could have a passion for being in HR. Shout out to my friend Sammy from a previous job, who was the HR guy that had to listen to me sometimes yell about management at the company. So, yeah.
Shout out to Toby from the office.
Well, of course, yeah. What does he say? He's like, so no, I wouldn't say I have a passion for HR.
All right. Next, David Sterrett from Christian Science Monitor says it's grimly fascinating to watch fine actors wrestle with the increasingly awful screenplay.
Okay, that is fair. That is something that I think I've talked about since the birth of this podcast, is the juxtaposition that great actors find themselves in when inevitably they make a terrible movie and they have to recite this dialogue that maybe in the moment seemed like it was going to be good, but then when you go through and like watch it analytically, you're like, oh, this is shit. Unfortunately, Denzel, not unfortunately for him, because Denzel is a very wealthy man, can eat whatever he wants every day of the week. He has several to choose from of that. Denzel is a distinguished actor, but he's made some real stinkers. Book of Eli amongst nearing the top of the list. And this movie, we have our qualms, or not qualms. We have our thoughts on it that are expressed in the episode. But yes, some of it would be really bad if you didn't have like a great actor like Denzel Washington deliver it.
Yeah, I think that it's a double-edged sword. I think if you have a bad screenplay with bad actors, or actors that are not good, at least, this movie is kind of stacked in the sense that you have Denzel, Robert Duvall, Anne Heche, James Woods, Ray Liotta,
Kevin Conley.
Well, but
for now, he might be out of the picture come another portion of this episode, this post credits.
So I think that makes it more entertaining. Maybe it doesn't make the movie any better, but at least you have people that can hold the screen and watching them, like what this guy said. Ed Park said they're wrestling with the deficiencies of the screenplay, and so that makes for compelling watching, kind of from outside of the movie. If you have just your average actor, just a bunch of nobodies that are just doing, workman-like performances, then it's just forgettable. Maybe you get bored. But the double-edged sword part comes in the sense that when you see all those actors, you expect more. Cut to that episode we did a few episodes ago, the 44-inch chest.
Yeah,
you have all those actors, you want something better. So it works both ways. And then, that was David Sterrett. Ed Park is our final quote from the Village Voice, who says, represents a creative dead end for the organ transplant movie. Is that a genre you were aware of, Alex? The organ transplant?
Now that I think about it, it sounds like that definitely sounds like a trope that would have been really popular in television and film in the early 2000s. Let's see here, just from Googling organ transplant movie. What we got here? 7 Pounds. Never seen it.
That's the Will Smith movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not that though. I think that he's dying, or he commits suicide and he's just giving away his organs.
My Sister's Keeper, which does come up in the episode.
Same guy. That. It's our boy
Cassavettes.
Nick Cassavettes, yeah.
Of Hangover 2 fame. A bunch of movies I've never heard of. So sure.
Whatever's going on, it pretty much, if it didn't end with this movie, with John Q, the descent started. Time was running out for the organ transplant movie. Those are the quotes, Alex. Let's go to the trailer. Alex, the music on the trailer.
Brother, more importantly, at the end of the trailer, AOL keyword John Q. Do you remember AOL keywords?
Yes.
Hell yeah, man.
Never used them. Never had AOL, so I never had a chance to join that wonderful community because it was a AOL chat, and I always felt anybody who had their AOL handle was part of a world that was outside my reach, and now they're gone forever. So.
Yeah, I just for those who don't know, American Online was like an internet provider or browser. It was like software. It wasn't necessarily a provider, but yeah. Before Google, there was AOL keywords. And I think it said also internet search term John Q. But, yeah, the music. Look, I'll say this: this trailer makes this movie look. There's some decent action in this movie, but this makes it look way more action packed than it actually is.
Yes, I am surprised that it suddenly made me want to watch it. As soon as it was over, I'm like, oh no! I woke up from the spell. But while it was happening, I was like, this looks badass.
It does, because it also makes it look like he has way more of a plan in taking the hospital hostage than he actually does. In the movie, like they keep in the line of the hospital's got new management now,
right?
Which like he's like shitting his pants when he's doing this stuff, man. It's not like he's a bad. Eventually, like he comes to him like second nature, but he had no plan going in there. He just brought a gun with him, and he didn't like what James Woods told him. So yeah, interesting trailer.
It's a good trailer because you're right. It doesn't show you. It abbreviates the first act in a way that's very effective, right? You basically you understand exactly how he ends up taking the hospital hostage. Without having watched the movie, it shows you all the moments like and Hage telling him that they can't do it, that he's not covered.
Oh, dude, that's awesome because when she's like, "There's nothing we can do," it shows her in slow motion closing the book.
Yeah, it shows Robert Duvall also. There's like one shot of Duvall just doing like this. You're like, oh, it's done. They have no hope. They've lost.
Looks like him at the end of falling down. Let's go, baby.
Yeah. By the way, yeah. So there's a lot of momentum in the trailer, and then it doesn't, unlike in the movie, it doesn't lose momentum once he takes the hostages. Because you're right, in the movie, once he locks up the doors and he has those people in the emergency room, he's like, all right, well, I guess now we just sit down and wait.
Yeah.
So we can all have a conversation about insurance and crooked doctors and all that stuff. So yeah, that's don't be fooled by the trailer. This movie, it slows down a lot once that happens. Once it gets to the plot,
it's way more dialogue driven than this trailer would lead you to believe.
Yes. Were you surprised that we only
Denzel throwing the punch, and it's like, yeah, that's the only punch he throws in the movie.
Yeah, we do see like a shot of the sniper, the guy from the SWAT team, just like a glimpse of him. And then we get one shot of Ray Liotta, which I was a little disappointed. I thought we were going to get more Liotta. We get everybody else.
I forgot how bad his hair was in this movie. Shit.
Ray Liotta's?
Yeah, looked like shit.
You thought that? I mean, it's just short.
Yeah, it was a weird haircut.
Were you thinking that during the movie, or did it just jump to you?
Oh, it just jumped to me from the trailer. Okay. I wasn't thinking that in the movie, no.
We get even the guy, that news anchor, he gets more screen time than Liotta in this trailer. He gets 2 big moments or 2 big close-ups.
Chet or something.
Yeah. He gets the line of the movie.
So Jimmy, is that his name? No. Jimmy is his friend.
His friend,
Tuck Lampley.
There you go. Yeah. Anyway, good job by whoever cut the trailer. Probably the same person that did the trailer for the first Suicide Squad, which was like really exciting and made it look like it was going to be awesome, and then it wasn't. But anyway, that was trailer chatter for John Q. Before we go to trivia, Alex, let's do the Josh Gad Minute. Lots of options here.
There are. Even who just mentioned Tuck Lampley, you can maybe put Gad in that role of the conniving sensationalist television anchor, action news reporter. So tonally, this movie it has its inconsistencies. I thought for a moment of replacing Ethan Suplee as a security guard,
Okay.
Max Josh Gad, but the problem is, for as much as like there is even moments of levity with Ethan Suplee in this movie, he's a very large fella, and I don't just mean like overweight like he was now. He's a fucking like bodybuilder now, but like he was overweight, big, but he's also like tall and like has a very like. That's why he got cast in a lot of the roles he did, because he has like a imposing presence. Josh Gad does not. So like Ethan Suplee, just from the visual, you buy that he would be a security guard. So I can't do that. So I think the safe bet would be replacing Kevin Connolly as the nurse in this with Josh Gad.
Dude, he was not in the trailer.
No? What would he have? What could they have cited at this point?
Was he on Entourage when he was, right?
He was on Entourage, but not by the time this movie came out. Entourage is like mid 2000s. This is early.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't really know what you could. I know he did stuff as a kid, but I don't really know what you would. Rocky Fives, Kevin Connolly. But anyway, Gad can do all that. He's smarmy, and he can take the higher ground and kind of disassociate from the James Woods and Anne Heche character in this, and have and he's Josh Gad. He's a good actor, so he can have that long monologue that we give Kevin Connolly in this about how corrupt the insurance system is. So, I mean, if we go much further than that, we're going to be fucking with the dynamics of this, because obviously I'm not putting him in the Robert Duvall or Ray Liotta role. And
okay, Liotta is untouchable here. It didn't even cross my mind, but Robert Duvall, I mean, yes, Josh Gad is not Robert Duvall, but don't you want to see?
You could flip it to where this is like Duvall's at the end of his career, and he's got like one last negotiation in him, and this would be Gad's like first standoff that he has to like prove himself to the force. And then Denzel just sees him and goes, "No."
He keeps dropping the phone every time he grabs it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or he could have gone to med school, like he could be James Woods.
Okay, now that is interesting, because that, I think, he could be like a really punchable bad guy, how James Woods is in this. And then also when he gets to the part where he's like going to perform that insane surgery, you could just see Gad getting smocked up and stuff. Yeah.
I just want to hear Josh Gad tell Denzel, "Can you get your hands off me, please?" Josh Gad, you're replacing James Woods, which is a good thing, I think, for everyone except James Woods. You think that we'll go with that?
He'll manage.
Yeah. All right, Alex, we're done with the Josh Gad Minute. It's time for trivia.
Trivia about John Q. Released a great date movie, Valentine's Day weekend of 2002, February 15th to be exact. A budget of $36 million with a box office return of over $100 million, generating mostly negative reviews from critics, but a commercial success. There's a very interesting use of a wrestling figure in this movie also. Go listen to the episode for detail on that. Let's see here. In the episode we talk about a lot of this, so I apologize if we're repeating points, but it is interesting just to put into context. So, according to the commentary on the deleted scenes with Nick Cassavettes and writer James Kearns, the main theme of the movie was said to be about, quote, a miracle of John's faith in God creating the miracle, which no. They also mention how SWAT team advisors for the film related a similar true incident at St. Michael's Hospital in Toronto, where a man, Henry Masuka, took an ER hostage after it would not provide immediate service to his infant son on New Year's Eve in 1999. When he exited the ER, he was shot and killed, found to be carrying an unloaded pellet gun. So that, again, is literally third-hand information, because they're saying we heard it from this guy, but an interesting story, an interesting tale there. The reason that probably made it to them, that story, is because this film, despite being portrayed as in Chicago, was shot in Toronto.
They did. Okay, but they went to Toronto after the movie was already written.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I'm saying the crew
Oh,
that
I
they
see.
had.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
get there, they hire the SWAT people, and then the SWAT people are like, "Oh, funny that you're making this type of movie because."
Which to me, it is. Oh, here you go. From pushblack.us. Daily inspiring black stories is it says before Denzel, 26-year-old Henry Masuka, and it's a story on this in Toronto. Interesting.
I think that much like in this movie, I understand that the person that did it in real life must have been as desperate as Denzel, but as Denzel in this movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're watching it with like a cool head, you're like, how do you expect this to end? Because it's not that you're just like robbing a bank, getting the money, and getting out. You're talking
Mhm.
about somebody performing surgery. It's a very complex procedure on your kid, and I guess by then that you've decided that it doesn't matter. All that matters is that the procedure is done on your kid, and then, well, if they kill you, take you to prison, whatever, it doesn't matter. But even then, I mean, I don't know. It just
Yeah.
sounds like the kind of thing that would never work in real life.
No, and that's this fella here, Masuka. Uh, sounds like that's sadly what happened. Was just took 2 steps out after trying to get his son taken care of and got killed. Uh, also very interesting to think of a time where Toronto was seen as a cheap option of where to go to shoot a movie. Also in Canmore, Alberta. All right, there you go. The film, this is probably the longest talking point in the real talk portion of the podcast. The film incited fear in the healthcare industry. Good. That copycat incidents may occur and come from disgruntled patients. Yeah.
I mean, the Contrarians do not condone.
No. But it also leads to the discussion of the next point here that after the killing of Brian Thompson in 2024, the United Healthcare CEO, the film was mentioned in a number of articles about the incident. And Julio called out the great point that it's probably not great that we haven't had enough movies in the past 20 years that call out the bullshit of the American medical system, that John Q still has to be cited as, obviously it's a bit sensational because he takes a fucking wing of the ER hostage, but
Fuck it, that's all we got.
That's it. Denzel's all we got, man.
The intern researching the story comes back with the John Q DVD, and the editor is, really?
Now Brandon Curtis might need to get on the case about this one. The film was officially remade in India as a Hindi language film in 2006. Tathasu, if I mispronounced that, I do apologize, but yeah, May of 2006. It is basically just a port of John Q.
How does it say how long? How long is the movie?
This has to be a misprint. It only says it's 1 hour and 13 minutes.
Impossible. I don't buy it. It's 1 hour and 13 minutes without the songs.
Yeah. And it was remade in Bangladesh also as Hiridoy Theke Pawa in 2009. I think, our personal attachment aside, or, bitterness towards our current medical system, the idea of this is a pretty universal story. I mean, just the idea of not being able to get the help you need for someone very close to you that's sick and having to take matters into your own hands to get that help. So it doesn't surprise me that other countries of course, if they made this in Norway, people would be like, what?
Just take a number, get in line.
Yeah,
They'll call you.
It is all, the comparison to Dog Day Afternoons listed here. And Money Monster is another one that it's mentioned alongside.
Is that George Clooney, Julia Roberts?
Yes, sir.
Haven't seen
Directed.
it, but I think that's a Jodie Foster
It is. I was about
joint.
to say directed by Jodie Foster. So, I mean, this movie has quite the legacy. I think its legacy is more impressive than the movie itself. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, I think it's such a good high concept that it's just so easy to tell anybody about it. I think it's easier to explain the pitch of the movie than it is to explain how it doesn't really fulfill its promise.
Yeah.
Because I just tell you right away, Denzel's kid is sick, needs a heart transplant. The insurance is not covering it. He runs out of options. He's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna force him to do it. I'm gonna take people hostage and see what happens." I'm like, "Sure, I'll watch that." Wait, and it has musical numbers in the Indian version.
Yeah. Robert Duvall. You imagine they got Robert Duvall for those old cologne commercials Tommy Lee Jones would do in Japan that no one ever knew about, and Robert Duvall's in this fucking Hindi film dancing and singing.
All right. Well, I am not saying that either of us is going to watch the Indian version of John Q, but I would be very interested in hearing from anybody who has. So if you watch the Indian version of John Q, hit us up, let us know, and do your best pitch. Try to convince us to do it, because honestly, if you tell me that the Denzel character gets everybody to sing and dance once they're all taken hostage, that's how we get introduced to the characters. I mean, I don't know. You catch me a good day, I might go for it. But that's it for John Q. Our next episode, so you can start getting ready. It's on the movie Serenity, not the Matthew McConaughey Serenity, the Joss Whedon Serenity. So the one that is an ending of sorts to Firefly, the TV show. So, man, I'm not going to tell you that if you haven't seen Firefly, you need to watch the entire show. I didn't even tell Alex to do that, but maybe you watch a couple episodes, start with the first one more, and then jump into Serenity, the movie. We'll talk about it. It's fresh, so we're gonna nitpick it, which is a lot of fun, and then we'll tell you how we feel about it. Alex hasn't seen it, so always a good time when I get to introduce him to something that I've known for years and years. So watch John Q if it sounds like it. You're in need of a Denzel movie that may not be great but may be entertaining, and then watch Serenity so you're ready for the next episode. But until then, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.